very recently scored a 750, but more importantly, Quant 51 full score. And a little probably is on the sadder side that one more point probably could have given him a 760. But really interesting journey is had. There are people in my team, faculty team particularly, who tell me about the journey he's had, and that. So he anyway wanted to connect with me as well. So great, we are talking right now. Just take us through your journey, what it was like, and how did you manage a Quant 51? Were you already good at math so much, or did this help you in some way? And verbal, what did you do? Is that? Yes.
Okay, so speaking of my journey, right? I think my journey is more of, from my journey, people can learn more about what not to do than what to do. So as a student, I joined top in the October live batch. And I think so couple of a single month into the program, I realized that I had really underestimated GMAT.
Okay.
So in my mind, I was thinking, okay, I'll go full force at office because I was chasing a promotion, and I'll also, whatever time is left, dedicate to GMAT. And then just something happened. I fell ill, and then everything became haywire. So once I recovered, I started my preparation again in mid-January or towards the end of January. At that time, I was feeling quite lost because unlike the live batches where we, have certain amount of work that we have to do, I was feeling lost in terms of how do I make progress now? How do I track myself? Feeling a little bit alone in my preparation. And that's where the top support system really helped, restart my preparation. So I wrote on the top GMAT Scout email that this is my situation and how do I get out of it? And how do I work towards my score? And I then got onto a strategy call with Aman. And I also from Richa received the self-paced study plan. And from that, once I got the plan and I had a strategy call, I knew exactly what I had to do. So I just, every single day I was following the plan. And on top of that, I was also attending the live course recorded videos. So I would follow the plan, and I knew because I had attended the live course in the beginning that there are live videos for these classes as well that I need to do. And that's exactly what I followed. I did not do anything special in Quant. Ironically, though my score reflects like I did something special in Quant, I just followed your material. I probably solved your material more than once. But what we do as pre-work, I did that 700 to 800 collections, and then what really came to help in Quant were the sectionals. I think I wrote about 15 to 17 Quant sectionals, and that was it in Quant. In Quant, it was, I think Sandeep, you very rightly mentioned in one of my classes in the live batch that the GMAT is out there to test your intuition. Like in the questions that make the difference, especially in Quant, it's whether you'll go with your gut feeling or you'll go with logic. And I think as far as Quant preparation is concerned, if I could really describe at the end, what I was doing is just making very detailed logs of my silly mistakes. And going over my logs in one sitting to realize, okay, these are the mistakes, these are the silly mistakes that I make, so that in the exam I can pause, knowing that this is where I usually go wrong, this is where I make silly mistakes. And I think that was it. So just the Quant, for Quant, only top material. In fact, even for verbal, I did not refer anything at all. But my overall score with verbal is not something that I thought, is really reflective of what top has to offer. I think it could have been better.
Okay, what were challenges with verbal then? Take us through RC, SCCR one by one. What did you do exactly in the material? And after the initial classes are done, then there's a huge practice phase for verbal also that we have. So what all did you finish in that? Just let us know.
I think I covered most of the content. So in RC, I'll start with RC. I went over the 700 to 800 passages, that 137 passage PDF. And after that, moved to OGs and then to LSAT. In RC, I had a good command over RC in the beginning, but I went through sort of like a sine curve where after a month or so, I would start seeing that my timing is dipping or that my accuracy is dipping. And frankly, that used to worry me a lot, that why is now, if I'm improving one thing, the other is, sort of falling in terms of accuracy and pacing. But the advice I got from the GMAT Doubts portal email ID was that, whenever you start seeing a dip in something because you haven't touched it in a while, or because you're only doing 4 passages a day, do those 3-hour long sittings. So I think whenever twice I did those long sittings, once before before the weekend before my exam, and once in the middle when I thought I'm losing my RC touch. And I can't put it into words. Like, that's super helpful, those long sittings. Not even if you're not checking your answers, I would say just getting that into that zone of RC, reading, your eyes are automatically looking for OCT, you're marking answers, eliminating, not worrying about why the right answer is right. That's the approach I took for RC long sittings. And I went over about 25 LSAT papers, the 700 to 800 PDF, probably twice. And yeah, twice. And the OGs I did once, along with the another very important thing for RC are the marathon sessions, I feel. And
Right.
just
Absolutely.
for RC, there are a lot of nuggets of wisdom in that marathon session, especially about timing your exam overall. I think in one of the sessions in the marathon, you tell us if you're struggling with long passages, this is how you time yourself. Make sure you finish SC in 15 minutes. CR
Yeah.
So that was super helpful. For CR, I think I covered almost all of the content. Yeah, I think in CR I covered all of the content. I did the live classes twice because I was struggling a little bit with assumption. And something that was super helpful was that mega practice at the end.
Right. Verbal mega practice.
Yeah, there are topic-wise tests, but there are 2 tests, 3 hours, about 100 questions. Super helpful to get in the RC zone. And then, of course, LSAT towards the end when I had exhausted these resources. SC was painful. SC for me was painful. And I'm being very honest here. I did the entire SC content 3 times. Because first time, I think I underestimated SC. When I was going over the basics video, I could not really grasp how this will be tested. Like, I'm learning what a verb is, preposition is, what is the gerund, and things like that. But I was not able to understand, okay, how will this come as a question and why do I need to know this? Cut to the 100 questions class and everything was crystal clear why this is so important. So I think I did the SC basics and the 2 videos that we have about twice. And in the live classes, there were extra 90 questions that were super helpful. And you have to, and this is like an advice I got from Deep and Aman on the strategy portal. Every 5 days, you have to go over that SC2 PPT and, whatever notes you've made from SC basics, because these are things that keep skipping your mind and you have to be. So for me, there was no one day where I was super ready for the exam. It was just finding that, I think, Sandeep, you call it a sweet spot where you're revising a little yourself. And when you just need to find that sweet spot. And in that sweet spot, revising SC, I think, is one of the most important things.
What was your yeah. Go ahead. Sorry. Yeah.
And that's basically my journey. So it was a little bit, I was a little bit confused in the beginning and a little bit, I was not confident in the beginning, frankly, because I had, joined the course, but then could not complete it. But I got a lot of support from Aman, from Deep, and these guys really helped. I think I've written a lot of mails to top saying suddenly this has stopped working, that has stopped working, but I always got a constructive feedback and some actionable things. Yeah. So super
okay. What about your mocks? I mean, how many mocks did you write? The official and our mocks or any other mocks? How did that help?
Official mocks help you because I think, okay, so if anybody is in this course, right, and if you guys are really following the top mentality, you're probably aiming for a 760 plus. And the official mocks sort of, it was very clear to me that the official mocks are not reflective of the actual exam. I finished the classes. I wrote my first official mock after we completed SC and I got a 780. And I wrote another official mock and I got a 770. And then I wrote the first top mock and I could not finish verbal at all. I was 6 questions away from finishing verbal and I really got disheartened. And that was a much needed reality check in terms of what the exam has to offer. I'm not saying the exam is as difficult as the top mock. It certainly is not. But the top mock really helps you put yourself in a place, okay, it's not as easy as the official mocks are. So I wrote about 2 official mocks. Official mock 1, I wrote 3 official mocks, 1, 5, and 6, and I wrote about 14 to 15 top mocks.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what could be the reason on the test day that your verbal was 39 and that it was A little less when 760 didn't happen. What is your assessment? Because I'm asking a reverse question. It's
Yeah.
ironical that I'm asking someone who scored this question, but still, I mean, it can help you also and us also understand what may have happened.
So actually, I've also spent a lot of time introspecting that, but it's clear to me what happened on that day. First is something that was not in my control, and I think I'm not sure if it's a personal experience or not, but I would advise everybody on this call, like personally, to avoid taking the online exam.
Right, absolutely. That's my sentiment as well. Yes.
Yeah. So I due to some, like, I had a health injury, so I could not go for the offline exam. So I attempted it online, and my exam lasted about more than 5.5 hours actually.
Oh,
And my verbal section, so I still remember question number 1, 5, 7, 11, 17, and 27. The exam almost got paused for more than 10 minutes at each time. And what happens is, so exam getting paused is okay, it can happen sometimes, but if you're writing your exam online, then every time your exam pauses, you have to do an entire room check and washroom check. So you pick up your laptop, you get up from your seat, you have to show the laptop again, the entire room again, and it became a painful experience, like in verbal. So that messed up my timing, and I think the last 3 questions in verbal I just marked A.
Okay.
Last
So
3,
else you were very well prepared for a better score in verbal. That is the point I'm trying to understand. Yeah.
Yeah, I was certainly very well prepared, but I do think in hindsight, you have to be prepared for the worst, right? So
Right.
I think maybe if I genuinely feel like a couple of days before my exam, if it were possible for me, I should have, done those long marathons of RC, SC, and CR.
Right.
A couple of days before my exam, due to whatever reasons, I just gave a mock a day. And I think had I been in that super zone with that, once you finish 3 hours of RC and 3 hours of CR continuously, that would have helped me take care of this situation perhaps. But
no, but this is too much of an uncontrollable. I mean, we are trying to control something that is just beyond any imagination. So that's, I think, the idea. Okay. And anything unusual that you saw on the exam day, like any question that was just out of the blue? Absolutely.
Not really. Not really.
Okay.
I did see some weird RCs in the sense that they were short. Like I was hoping that towards the end I would get a longer but tougher RC, but I was surprised to see a shorter but quite tough RC. But I think it was very similar to some of the RCs that we have in our verbal sectional, so I was feeling comfortable.
All right. And Karmanya, you've already told that what they shouldn't do, they can learn. So can you summarize 3 things or 5 things according to you that people should not do? I think the uncontrollable we're not talking about. I mean, there's something that it's very unfortunate to hear, by the way. I did not know that your exam paused 6 or 7 times, and despite that you have a 750 score. Commendable to say, because it's not possible to maintain that sort of tempo. But tell me once again, what not to do? Tell us.
So let's start with the first thing. I think the first thing, if you're probably in my place where you're an engineer, you would come with the mindset that this will take a little bit effort, but I would still suggest that you, even before you start with the course, right, you carve out 4 months for yourself where you have a dedicated slot for your study. And this needs to happen a little bit before you start the program, because once the program is on, it's going to become really intensive, really fast. And there is no substitute for consistency. I mean, there is nothing extra to add. It's what I've learned from Sandeep and my instructors, and it's just, I'm reiterating it based on my experience. So carve out that time for yourself, because it's going to get really intensive, and in the middle of a very hectic job, telling yourself, okay, I had a very tough day at office will not cut it. So you'll have to sit every single day to study for the exam. I would say, so carve out that period. Second, I can't stress on this enough, is maintain like error logs that are in depth, in terms of, if you are looking at your error logs, start making them from day 1, both quant and verbal, and just make sure you write what went wrong, how can you improve on it the next time, so that when you're revising your error logs, even if you're not able to go over the questions, you're able to go over what went wrong and how to improve on it. And like, this is also coming from my experience only. Don't think that this is a silly mistake and I will not put it in the error log. I think for quant, at least, the game is about finding out your silly mistakes and making sure you don't make them on exam day. So be very particular about making error logs in quant as well.
Mhm.
Third thing I would tell is make sure that you're having continuous revisions. So every fourth or fifth day, you should be revising SC or you should be revising CR basics. RC, I think you can get away with it, and also with in Quant, but SC and CR, make sure every weekend or sometime that you can find, you're revising those basics, you're revising your idioms, phrases. I think that
Right.
that will also really go a long way. Apart from that, one last thing I would tell is towards the end, right, in the last 1 month of your prep, make sure you're practicing everything every single day.
Okay, that's a very valuable thing. That's so very practical and actionable items, Karmanya. I'm very happy that you could really spell things out the way you did. What's the plan now? Are you applying now, or what's the
Yeah.
plan this year or next year? What's the
So I'm still deciding which year is the best for me,
Mhm.
considering my profile right now. And but right now I'm looking at applying this year. If things
Okay.
work out, I'm also seeing if I can somehow make time for another attempt.
Right.
But
Yeah.
otherwise, I think I will go carry forward with this 750, since you mentioned, right? I was able to get a Q51.
Yeah,
So
I very strongly feel that with Q51, 750 is as competitive as any other score. So no problem.
Yeah. So
Will not.
taking that, actually, till the time I had spoken to you, I was really confused about what to do.
Right.
But coming from the person who's ingrained 760 in your head, if it's coming, then I'll go forward with it. Yeah.
No, not that. I mean, if it had been Quant 49 sort of a score, then I would have said yes.
Yeah.
If it's Quant 51, a lot of things are offset. Trust me, it's not easy. Getting everything correct on the exam day in one section, whatever it is, quant or verbal, it's exceptionally commendable. All right, Karmanya, really thank you, and continue to update me whatever you are doing, whichever school you're applying to. If you're consulting my team for admissions, then anyway we'll be more in touch in that case.
Yeah.
Right.
Thank you
All
so
the
much.
very best. Do keep in touch then.
Yeah.
Right.
Thank you.
Thanks for your time. Bye-bye.